Now, if you watched my last video on habit stacking, you already know how powerful it can be to take one small habit and anchor it to something you already do. But today, I want to go deeper into this topic because there's a reason habit stacking works. There's a principle behind it that explains why those tiny, almost laughable actions create massive transformation. It's called the compound effect. And if you truly understand this, you will never look at change the same way again. Hi, I'm Marina Popper, founder of the AP Method, and if you're ready to do life, love, and success in the way that actually gets you results, then this video and this channel are for you. So let's dive in. I want you to think about this one thing. We've been trained to believe that transformation happens in big fat leaps, okay? We imagine ourselves waking up one day completely changed. New routines, new mindset, new body, new me, new career, okay? But that's not how lasting change is built. Real transformation comes from tiny daily actions that compound over time until they become unstoppable. They're part of ourselves, like every day we just do them as like habit. And in my last video, I gave you the method, habit stacking. Today, I'm giving you the why it works, why small habits matter, and why if you master this principle, you can transform every area of your life without burning out or quitting halfway through. And if you stay with me until the end, I'm going to give you 3 powerful tools and 3 simple actions that will continue to help you compound the results from today. And remember, if you want to take this deeper, my Freedom Formula workshop is where we map this out step by step for you, uniquely and individually. And the link is in the description. So yes, this is where it begins, and it is that simple. Let's talk about the science. James Clear in Atomic Habits talks about this idea of 1% better every day. But this isn't just a nice quote. It's mathematics and neuroscience working together. If you get 1% better each day, you're not just adding up improvement, you're compounding it. By the end of the year, you're 37 times better. That's not motivation, that's literally math. And here's the fascinating part. Your brain loves this. Every small win triggers a dopamine release. And dopamine doesn't just make you feel good, it reinforces behavior. You're literally wiring your brain to crave progress. That's why tiny, repeated actions lead to massive change. They don't just create results, they create momentum. Let's also talk about the plateau of latent potential. This is one of the most important concepts in transformation psychology. Imagine you're trying to melt an ice cube. You go from -5 degrees to -4 to -3, nothing happens. Then you hit 0 degrees and suddenly it melts. The compound effect works exactly the same way. For weeks, sometimes months, it feels like nothing is changing. But underneath the surface, your brain and your identity are rewiring. And then one day, boom, everything shifts. Most people, though, quit before that point because they can't see the progress like in front of them. But if you understand this principle, you'll keep going long enough to hit that breakthrough. Now let's also talk about identity and repetition. A study from the University of London showed that small, repeated habits change how we see ourselves. So when you do something every day, even if it's tiny, you stop thinking, I'm trying to be that kind of person and like I have to keep striving for it. And you start actually believing you are that person. You're embodying that person. And when your identity changes, your behavior follows automatically. This is why stacking small habits, like we've already said, over and over, creates transformation at a core level, not just in what you do, but in who you are. Now, I want you to see how this shows up in real life. When I first started using this, I didn't change everything at once. I also did that. It did not work. I just give up. Now, I started with simple, almost silly habits. I truly mean it when I say this. I'd go to the kitchen, put the kettle on for that coffee, and I do a 5-minute workout. Everything, I've mentioned this in my last video. I just swapped things or added things on that were silly. And I remember telling one of my friends that I now do like a 3-minute workout every day. And I remember her saying, that will achieve nothing. Now, I knew I did no workout. So for me, when she said that, it really played on my brain where I was like, maybe she's right. Maybe I should quit because it's not going to achieve anything. But knowing this information, the compound effect and this habit stacking, I knew this wasn't about the 3-minute workout. I knew it was about building that 3-minute habit, which if I stuck at it would become second nature. Then I could expand this habit. I could do a 15-minute workout. Then I could do a 30-minute workout. Then I can do more and more with that habit. But it had to start there. So the other thing that I'm just going to quickly add to what we're already saying is, don't compare yourself to people, okay? Because everybody's got their own different starting point. And it's important to remember this, because if you share these things with other people, what often happens is they'll say stuff like, I don't know, even things like, why do you need to do that? Why do you need to work out? You look so good already. You're so healthy already. But you know that there's something you want to do, something that makes you feel good, something you want to implement in your life. So they could say, you know, you look perfectly fine, like don't worry about it. Other people will say, well, that habit's tiny, like that will never make a difference. So all of these things, they're like another person's perspective. They're not your journey. They're not your, you know, they're not you and what you need and what you know is right for you. So also this is why it's important to work with a coach if you can, because a coach is able to focus on your journey and to keep you refocusing on your journey, which isn't necessarily the right journey for anybody else. So again, if you're looking for a tailored plan for yourself going forward, then I'd encourage you to look at the workshop that I'm doing. I'm going to be launching some programs, and also you can request your one-to-one discovery call with myself, and we can work on your journey individually. You know, you're not like anybody else. And I think it's important to remember that, yes, as humans, we all experience the same things and we're all in it together, but also we're all quite distinctly different. We all start at different points. We've got different goals, different visions, different dreams. Woo! I said that very, very fast. Okay, so back to the video. I want you to do this, because this isn't just about habits. This is about proving to yourself that you can change. You can do this. And once you see that proof, nobody, not even your old beliefs, can convince you otherwise. So let me give you three tools that will help you use the compound effect starting today. Tool number 1, the rule of 1%. Forget massive goals. Stop right here, okay? Focus on improving by 1% today. That's it. 1%. Whether it's drinking an extra glass of water, reading 1 page, or doing 1 push-up. Tiny, consistent wins compound faster than big, inconsistent ones, and you'll stick to them. Tool number 2, evidence tracking. Write down your wins. Your brain needs proof to stay motivated. This could be a journal. You could do it in an app or even a sticky note on your fridge, as simple as that. Every time you take an action, track it. Watch how this win, all the wins kind of start to pile up. What I do is I have a chart every day. I have like a big, like a sticky thing on my wall, but it's not stuck on. It's just, it stays on. Anyway, I can link it below if you guys want it, something like that. But I just put this sheet on my wall, and I have all of the habits that I try and do every day. And every day I'll tick that I've done that habit, and I'll wipe the ticks off, and then the next day I'll start over again. But every day when I see myself ticking through those habits, whilst I'm trying to build these new things, I can see that I've really, really kept myself accountable. And eventually you won't need the tick sheet because it's part of your normal routine. When you see yourself kind of almost forgetting about the habits, but you're doing them anyway, that's when they can come off your list and you can introduce something new. But this is what I found works really, really well for me, because I've got my key habits and then I'm keeping myself focused on those. I'm not trying to do a million. I just pick some important ones and then I get consistent. Then I implement a new habit. This is a whole other thing. We can talk about habits even more in future, but this really, really works. Tool number 3 is habit pairing. So this is where we connect back to habit stacking from the last video. So take that existing habit, like making your coffee, and attach a new habit to it. When habits are stacked and repeated, they compound automatically because they're tied to something you already do. So here are 3 actions I want you to take right now. As soon as you finish this video, pick 1 habit, 1 small action you can repeat daily. If you already did this in your last video, fabulous. You're already ahead of the game. Now, number 2 is track it. Write it down, put it on your list like we've just discussed, and track it every day for the next 7 days. And then action number 3, watch the momentum build. Then after 7 days, you will see you've just done this thing, okay? You will see that it's possible. It takes a little bit of getting used to. You'll have to keep reminding yourself, but you'll see after 7 days, you've built that evidence and you'll feel so much better. And like, you can actually do this thing. And after 7 days, if you're confident and you're happy, then stack another small habit on top. If you do this in 90 days, you will be stunned at what's possible. Not because you made one massive leap, but because you embrace the compound effect, the principle that turns small wins into massive transformation. So here's what I want you to do. Comment below and tell me your first habit, declare it, and if you're ready to build this into a full transformation system, join my Freedom Formula workshop. We've already talked about this. This is where we take these principles and apply them to every area of your life so you can finally see the results you've been chasing. And just remember, transformation isn't one big moment. It really isn't. It's what you do every single day, and it's the small things. So if you start today, the compound effect will do the rest, and in 3 months' time, you probably won't even recognize yourself almost in the best way possible. Now, if this resonated with you, don't forget, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. See you then.